Class, hello and welcome to this astrology session on the basics of astrology. I will be your tutor, Big Owl. Today, we are going to look at what is astrology? Birth charts. Let's first look at what astrology is. Since the dawn of history, great thinkers have realized that everyone has needs, whether those needs are small, I sure could use a sandwich right now, or large. How do I get this log off my chest so I can stand up and go make a sandwich? And ever since then, great thinkers have wondered about our role in the universe and our connection to it. While those ancient sages were busy watching the sky for signs that it was time to plant crops or make wine, they discovered some interesting connections between the planets and people's personalities. Thus, astrology was born, the world's fourth oldest profession, right behind hunter and gatherer, prostitute, and middleman. Not having the distractions of television, the internet, or celebrity gossip, the ancients were in a much better position than we are to make these connections. Of course, modern humans are more complex. We don't merely want a sandwich, we want a good one, and make it low calorie. We don't merely want that log off our chests, we want it off today. Yet the same basic motivations and needs that resided in the hearts and souls of our ancient ancestors remain the same, and astrology retains its power to describe and detail our wants and needs. And whereas other ancient traditions, like throwing virgins into volcanoes to make for a good harvest, have fallen by the wayside, astrology continues to be used and studied. That's because it works. Also, it's easier to find an astrologer than it is to find both a virgin and a volcano in our modern society. We all want to make our lives better places, and we all want to understand the people around us. And obviously, the only way we could possibly get everything we want out of life would be to conquer the universe. This, as you might expect, requires a lot of time and resources. And regardless of the time or resources you have, it's impossible to do anything with them unless you understand what resources you have and who you are. That's the first step to conquering your universe, understanding. And astrology provides a unique, insightful, and surprisingly accurate way to get that understanding. How can astrology help someone? When I say I'm an astrologer, most people don't really know what the job entails, and that job varies from practitioner to practitioner. Let me tell you what I do. I'm a counselor. Much like a regular counselor you'd see if there was a problem with your love life or your finances or your health or family. In many ways, it's exactly that straightforward. Unlike most standard counselors, I don't have to spend weeks or months fishing around for the finer details of your existence. I certainly don't know everything from looking at a birth chart, but it saves a tremendous amount of time that way. With a birth chart in place, we can figure out fairly quickly and in detail exactly who you are, where you're at, and where you're headed. Here is what I don't do. I don't tell you what, if anything, God, the universe, karma, or whatever really wants from you, or why. I don't feel it's my place to expound on these things. A doctor can tell you to change your diet or exercise more or whatever, but your doctor certainly shouldn't pass himself off as a divine, all-knowing sage. There are a lot of people in my line of work who come across this way. I'm not comfortable with that. If I was, I'd be a priest or a rabbi or something. If your sink is clogged, your plumber may advise you to stop pouring bacon fat down the drain. If he spends 45 minutes first telling you about the bad karma you generated during a past life as a pig farmer in Atlantis, does that get the water flowing any faster? I provide guidance and clarity and a context for life, plus an assessment of where things are going to go, both for yourself and for the others in your life. Next, we'll have a look at birth charts. What is a birth chart? Is it details about a person's birth? For this part of the session, it would be helpful to look at the diagram on page 11 of your course pack, as we'll use this as an example. The birth chart is simply a stylized representation of what was going on in the sky at the time of birth. The chart is divided into 12 numbered segments, counted from what, if this was a clock, would be the 9 o'clock position. That symbol at the 9 o'clock position stands for the sign of Cancer. This point in the chart is called the ascendant. It is the point in the sky that was rising at the time Einstein was born. If we look near the top of the chart, we see that the 10th segment, the 10th house, is accompanied by the symbol for Pisces. This is what we call the midheaven, the highest point in the zodiac at the time of birth. We'll learn more about that later. The midheaven and the ascendant are the 2 points we use to divide the birth chart up into the 12 houses. Note the symbols in this birth chart. Near the top of the chart there is a circle with a dot inside it. That is the symbol or glyph of the sun. It is in a section of the chart labelled 10, which stands for the 10th house. With the sun are numbers and a symbol indicating that when Einstein was born, the sun was at 23 degrees at the sign of Pisces. Each sign is divided up into 30 degrees, and the whole circle of the zodiac adds up to 12 signs of 30 degrees each, or 360 degrees total. We can tell just from looking at the sun symbol and the numbers around it that Einstein was born in the latter days of Pisces. In the bottom half of the chart is a crescent shape. That's the glyph for the moon, and it is in a section of the chart called the 6th house. Einstein was born with his moon in the sign of Sagittarius, the arrow symbol, and it was at 14 degrees Sagittarius when he was born. Once you're comfortable with these 2 placements and get to know the glyphs for the planets and signs, you'll soon be able to look at a chart like this and quickly determine that Einstein had, for example, an 11th house Neptune in Taurus. To summarize what we have learned today, we have looked at what astrology is, the basics of a birth chart. Goodbye, class, and good luck.